Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dustin. Back here with another video. Today, we're going to be discussing about being an INTJ in San Francisco, right? And my experiences, right, with being an introvert and some of the weaknesses and pitfalls and how we can overcome it. If you like topics like this, where we deal with psychology, money, investing, and investing in ourselves, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. So let's go ahead and go into what's like being an INTJ. And before we go into what an INTJ is, if you haven't done the Myers-Briggs test, right, I highly recommend it. Regardless if you think it's pseudoscience and whatnot, most of the findings that I found from anecdotal experience, as well as many other INTJs I've met, right, it stands in line, especially being in the Silicon Valley, right, that there were a significant amount of INTJs, and our quirks, right, are explained pretty well in this test. Obviously, every individual is different, but if you want to understand yourself more, right, definitely take the Myers-Briggs test. So let's go into life being an introvert and some of the weaknesses and how we can overcome it as being an introvert, more specifically an INTJ. So INTJs, we have this really odd fascination with researching the hell out of topics, almost to a fault, right? Because we keep researching, and we really don't take any action on that research, right? I love having a ton of ideas and topics and seeing the big picture in my head. I'm always planning, right? I'm always planning and strategizing, right? But the action part, the execution part is harder for me because all these are like very abstract ideas that I have in my head, but I can't seem to execute on it. So the best way I found, even if you're not an introvert or you're not an INTJ, right? If you're having trouble, right, procrastinating, right, and just having all these grand ideas that you want to execute on, right, but you're not able to, you got to plan every activity in your day. In your calendar, you got to book, every 30 minutes, right? Every 30 minutes, every hour of your day must be accounted for. There's just no way around it. And when you plan for your day, when you plan for your week, make sure you do it when you're in a good, healthy state of mind. I've discussed this in one of my previous videos, but this applies tremendously with INTJs or folks that just can't seem to execute in general. You need to plan your entire day. And this comes with good time management, right? But with that good time management, you gotta be able to commit and have discipline to do what you've planned. And when you plan, you're already in that good mood. You've made good decisions, okay? You're gonna be able to make huge strides in your life in execution, getting what you want and your goals. One of the reasons why I'm able to make these YouTube videos more consistently is because I'm able to plan it out, but I've got conviction that, hey, I'm actually gonna execute on this. It's already on my calendar. I'm gonna do it, irregardless if I don't want to do it or not. And you know what? The beauty of it is, like, over time, I'm actually looking forward to doing these videos now because I actually want to talk in front of the camera and share value of things that I've learned to the entire world. So yeah, weakness number one, right? Learn how to be an excellent planner. Use your planning abilities. We're natural planners, but actually have a good plan throughout the entire day and the entire week, where you can get one step closer to your actual goal through strenuous execution, but really good planning up front. And that really good planning up front, don't do it when you're drunk. Don't do it when you're sad. Do the planning when you're in a good mood, well rested, well fed, and just do the work. The work itself will take care of you. And as you move on your day, your weeks, you're gonna find that you've made so much progress because you've learned how to take action. Okay, so the second biggest weakness I notice with introverts in general, right, and especially INTJs, is that because we like to research so damn much, right, we tend to get lost with society. Okay, so there'll be times where I'll be able to not see someone for a year, 3 years, 4 years, and that time has just flown by, and I could have made a better effort to keep that connection more alive, right? And I think it comes back to stepping out of your comfort zone, right? To actually go out of the apartment, go out of the house, and be able to interact with others, right? Because it's going to build that ability to build connections in a genuine way, rather than building connections for the sake of building connections. You're actually able to make very genuine connections. You're able to get social cues better, right? By actually interacting with more different people, right? Outside of just, say, your close group of friends. So, for example, like last night, my buddy John, okay, he invited me out to go out to a bar, a swanky bar, right? I dressed up with, with a vest, tie, a nice leather jacket, leather boots, right? Like, I typically don't even dress up to go out. And it's one of those things where anything that you fear, right? Not necessarily fear, but you don't want to do, right? That kind of like, stretches you. Like, oh man, like, I don't know if I want to go out. I'd rather just stay in for the day, right? But, but pushing yourself outside of that comfort zone, right? There's so much reward in that, because now you just interact with a bunch of people, right? That are actually out in the real world, in my city, right? In SF, rather than just having to, meet and interact with people, say a typical work environment, or like, within my apartment, right? There's a lot of value in that, because now it expands your scope of your thinking, right? Because you're having all these conversations. I mean, I had a conversation with a gentleman that's served in the Navy for 9 years in Japan. I had a gentleman come up to me and explain to me that he's going to be my new coworker at work. It's awesome, right? You just don't know who you're going to meet. I mean, I also met, two bartenders, right? They're one of them's from Ukraine, and another one's been teaching the person from Ukraine how to bartend. It's just it's really fascinating to like learn all these different backgrounds and individuals, and be able to like build actual genuine connections, and actually share contact information, and like actually say, hey, like we actually would like to follow up, and like see where it goes from there. Like, I don't have the expectation that it'll actually to end up to like being like a deep relationship or anything like that, but as an introvert, I think it's really key to actually do the work of putting yourself out there, right? And actually interacting and having a good time while you're doing it. I mean, like, I got a ton of drinks, right? I learned a bunch of like, like different drinks that the bartender just taught me about, right? I can't remember right now because I got so smashed, but it was a good time. I mean, I was dancing, right? Usually I don't dance. It's great. It's great to meet a lot of people, and it's also great to be able to actually have a good time doing it. And I know that, introverts in general, especially INTJs, they don't like meeting new people, especially when those people like don't really have topics of interest that interest us, right? But what I find is that for that, couple of interactions or a couple of new friendships that you develop, it's well worth the effort. Okay, so you don't know who's out there. You got to put yourself out there, and one of the best ways to do it is find someone that's extremely outgoing, right? Like my buddy John, he's extremely outgoing. I mean, he's a dude in his 40s, but man, he's slaying it. He's still dating like, chicks that are like, like younger, like my age or younger, but that's a whole topic for another day. It's really cool to see that, and you wouldn't be able to see and experience those interactions unless you actually put yourself out there. So second one, definitely try to go out more, and don't be a hermit in your apartment all day, or your house. Like don't stay in all day, because that's going to lead to depression. Okay. Not only that, but when you're stuck in your apartment all day, I know it's the pandemic happened and all that, but when you like not force yourself, but when you don't even want to go out, it gives you really no reason to like take care of yourself in a way that you learn how to present yourself better when you're actually putting yourself out there. I mean, you actually start giving a crap about your hair, right? Your facial hair. You give a crap about how you present yourself. And I think the best way to do it is to again, like, it doesn't have to be like nightclubs and all that. It could be any social event. Just meet new people. It's gonna help you. It's gonna help you grow as an individual, especially as an introverted person. Okay, so we talked about being more outgoing, right? We talked about we're going to be also talking about another weakness of INTJs, right? Is that we're not really in tune with our emotions, right? And also in tune with the emotions of others. This is something I've been struggling a lot with, right? Which is why I'm working with a therapist right now, as well as reading books on optimism, right? As well as healthy attitude, right? Of not only for myself, but also so that I can see the beauty in mankind. Seeing the beauty of other individuals, people, right? Not having that resentment of like there's more bad people than good people, but having the to see a perspective like actually there's a lot of good people out here, like of course I'm not gonna trust and be naive and trust everyone to be in my life, like obviously I know there's people that are very capable of very violent crimes and very violent like backstabbings, right? But be able to see and appreciate the beauty of other people, right, by being in tune with their emotions as well as my emotions has added a significant amount of value to me, and it has like made me happier. So third one, just being more in tune with your emotions. The fourth one I'd say with INTJs when it comes to weaknesses, right, is that we tend to be aloof. We tend to be aloof in the sense of, and it might go back to point number 3 with like emotions, but we tend to be aloof with our surrounding, right? So not only like we can like have our emotions messed up, but our surrounding, our environment could be easily messed up. And it's because we don't really focus on the small details, right? For example, like when it comes to like organization and cleanliness, right? I've dated an INTJ chick before. I lived with her before for year and a half, right? And both of us, our weaknesses were just compounded because neither of us really cared so much about keeping the place organized and clean. And I think there's a lot of beauty to be said in actually having a clean room. Okay, so Jordan Peterson talks a lot about clean your room and all that. Like it's become a meme at this point. But ever since like being more conscious and actually tracking the amount of time I clean my room, right? So this week I've already spent like 2.5 hours organizing and cleaning. I'm probably gonna do laundry tomorrow, so I'm probably gonna total around like 3.5 hours, okay, for actually organizing and cleaning, just for myself. Okay, my girlfriend is out of state right now; she's doing her own thing. But while I'm here in my apartment on my own, right, it has been, it has added an element of appreciating beauty again. It goes back to beauty because I see that my apartment is very clean and organized. My desk is organized. In the kitchen, my bedroom, right. All very organized and clean, and I feel better, right? I feel better, and when you feel better, as crazy as it sounds, like when you're emotionally sound, your environment's good, clean, right? You make better decisions. You make more intelligent decisions. I've noticed is that when I don't really give a crap, when I'm not really conscious or intentional about my environment, keeping my environment clean, everything clutters up. I'm slower to work. I'm slower to get things done, and I feel more depressed. Okay, so I understand my girlfriend better now. Like, she's a sensor, right? She's not like an intuitive, like I am. She's more of a sensor. She notices small things, loses her crap, if things are out of place. But I can appreciate it better now because now that I can actually prove to myself that, hey, if I just put in effort and time, and by having those time blocks to actually clean my environment, I'm happier. So that's beautiful. And again, if you're an INTJ and you're a freaking mess, you got to block that that schedule to actually clean your place, and don't delay it, but make it a habit where you're actually doing it rather than letting it clutter up for months on end, like I did at least, and then having to do a ton of work to actually get a resemblance of any livable situation. So take organization and cleanliness pretty seriously, because it's not only going to help yourself, but it's also going to help you and your future family and your future significant other. If you ever want a significant other, it's going to help you guys a lot. Okay, so be responsible and accountable, and keeping your place clean, very basic. And if it takes more than half an hour to keep your place clean and organized, then your place is a freaking disaster. Okay, so disaster city. So take it serious. Okay, so another weakness that I want to talk about with INTJs is that, it goes back to the relationship of emotions, but be able to express, right? Be transparent about how you feel. Usually when it comes to emotions, we don't find ourselves very, transparent in the moment, right? I've been learning better to, be transparent about it, but I think about it, but I also will not only be transparent about how I feel and whatnot, but I also try to think, hey, if I said something right, how would the other person feel if I let them really know how I feel? So it's also being more empathetic. Okay, so having the empathy and just being able to understand from the person's perspective has helped me a lot with just understanding people better, right? But also just having better, more rewarding relationships with my coworkers, right? But also with my relationships with my mother, right? And also just my own personal relationship with my girlfriend. So I think it's been really helpful to have that sense of empathy, which I think INTJs lack. I mean, you know, a lot of it goes back to this whole emotional, you know, which I thought was like nonsense, but it really does make a big difference. And I understand that a lot of you maybe, right, if you're an INTJ or if you're introvert in general, right, that you think that I don't need anyone. I can just like live in my apartment and just like chill out, right, or live in my own house and just, you know, veg out for months on end. And this pandemic's, you know, you might be thinking, yeah, it's been great. I thought it was great for me because I didn't really need it. But when you actually start putting yourself out there and actually expressing how you actually feel, right, without repercussions of, I mean, like expressing how you feel, but also accepting the full consequences of how when you do express it, right, after you logically think and, you know, rationally think like how it would make the other person feel and how it would make you feel, right, it really makes you like feel genuine to yourself. It's like you're not hiding yourself anymore. It's you're actually thinking it. And you know, it's really funny because I'll tell you a story. The other night, I would usually have these dreams, right? And I would put in these really weird like scenarios where, you know, like I would have a dream about some like guy who would be like, you know, like maybe pushing me or poking me, right? And subconsciously, I wouldn't be able to like, you know, actually tell him like, hey, what the hell, man, stop, right? I would be like frustrated, but like I would repress that feeling because like usually that's like, you know, it's just a, you know, a habit I've had. But as of recently, right, like when something like that in my dream happens, right, I'm like, dude, stop. I'm direct now. I'm more direct with like, you know, like what I'm thinking in my head, and being able to express and be in tune with my emotions has been, you know, really helpful. So subconsciously now, even I'm thinking, right, I'm actually gonna speak up my mind. And another example, I'll give you another story. The other day, one of my neighbors, okay, like he would take one of those big cardboard boxes and just throw it in the recycling bin without breaking it down. And typically, normally, like I would not really care, but now I'm thinking, not only is it gonna affect me, but it's also gonna affect my other neighbors. So I would actually say, sir, you've got a huge box that you just put in there that is gonna make it a pain in the ass for everyone else, including me. And I've never seen someone run faster in my life to get a box out of the recycling bin after walking away from it to actually break it down. And I think that's a really healthy thing because it's, you know, it's keeping people in check, but it's also keeping yourself in check, because now it's like you're saying things that you know is beneficial for not yourself but also others, especially when you see something that's like not right. So INTJs, you got really great ideas, you got really great overall pictures and structure, but when it comes to communicating those, right, and actually, you know, like day-to-day interacting with your environment, we can do a better job. We can do a better job with interacting with our environment and with others. So that's all I got with you for you guys today. Again, like this video if you found any value in it from, you know, introvert perspective, but also like if you're an INTJ, definitely reach out to me and connect with me and like ask me questions, because this has been a life learning situation where I've always felt growing up, right, as an INTJ that, hey, this is I couldn't relate with people. But as I began to work more in the tech industry, I've met a lot of other folks that are similar like me, which is like really odd because it's one of the more rare personality traits, right? But it to feel misunderstood in the world, right? But to actually do something about it, to be able to do something about it, right, is really fulfilling and it's satisfying, because like the world is just doesn't see the way we INTJs see things, and to be able to progress in that makes all the difference in giving me hope that, hey, like I can make an impact in this world in a positive way. And not only, but more importantly, I can make an impact with myself and how I view life, my attitude, but also all those around me. So thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great weekend. Take care.